ano niya, rap hits niya.
So you went back to the basics, kumbaga.
Oo, went through na. Parang
Time
party
trial.
mode lang talaga. Party mode lang talaga. Masaya, Jose and Wally nandoon din, nag-perform din. So, ang daming mga artists din na, na nag-perform. So, basta yung sa concert part, masaya naman. Nag-enjoy naman din ako.
And bloggers, any major influencers there?
Meron kasi
Obviously, alam natin sino mga wala
vloggers
na influencers. Alam natin sino mga walang influencers. Pero yung mga nandun, sino?
Definitely, lahat ng DDS wala doon. meron kasing mga, we call them street vloggers.
Right.
Maski nung election, sila yung nagkakalye survey.
Right.
Hindi sila commentary katulad natin, pero mostly they cover yung mga projects,
Right.
before yung Manila Bay, kung merong mga construction, ganun. So, merong portion doon na given to vloggers na nandoon sila. Kasama ng mga media, ng mga cameraman. So, merong portion doon. Tapos yun lang yung part na may wifi, o tapos may pagkain. Pero, yung mga big name na mga komentarista na konti lang, wala halos definitely lahat ng DDS wala doon sa Carino Grandstand na rally. Meron kasing mga organization na na kinukuha yung example yung Tugon.
Right.
Tugon is the group of street vloggers na covers the projects of the president. So
Right.
kapag merong mga opening, merong mga kunyari housing ganun, they get invited. So pumupunta yung Tugon. So marami yung kaibigan diyan. So usually mga street vloggers sila pupunta sila cover nila. Yun. So yun ang
ano nangyari dun sa mga sangkay dyan, yung mga hardcore loyalists na super influencers? Wala na, nag-Alex Jones na sila, they're out of the loop. Ano ba yan? Alternative universe?
Yun. So ito yung sa mga malalaki. Sangkay Jan is retired from politics. Parang torn siguro siya dun sa mga nangyayari. Nagre-report lang siya, kunyari magandang project, ganun lang. Pero hindi na yung mga Bardagulan stuff.
Oh, wow.
Nakakausap ko siya. Pero ngayon, as of right now, parang he's a free agent. Parang ganun. hindi siya either side. Hindi siya either strong on either side.
So nag-detox na lang siya. Nag-detox na lang siya.
Oo Meron siya mga vlogs about the Bible, about sa Israel, about sa
wow.
world.
He went like...
About sa world events. So, nakatutok yung vlog niya. And meron siyang audience for that, Meron
I'm sure. I mean, maraki na yung following mo. Usually, kung malaking following mo, even if medyo umiiba yung ginagawa mo, eventually, the algorithm will get a hang of it. Kasi diba, ako rin sometimes,
may 1 million subscribers,
Yeah, exactly.
Ang isa sa mga prominent din na nung sa Unity nun, si Coach Jarrett.
Mahal na mahal ako nun. Parang di ako hinano nun. Kamusta kayo? Si Coach.
Diba, nandun siya dun sa buong issue ng yung mga kay Trixie during the start of the presidency, diba? Yung grupo na yun.
Malaki na yung vloggers.
Tapos si Maharlika, tapos hanggang nagkaaway din si
Life to life.
Maharlika at si Jarrett. Pero ngayon, si Jarrett is on the side of the admin. Although meron siyang hirit paminsan-minsan, pero more on the admin side siya kaysa doon sa mga Duterte side.
May mga pitik-pitik pa na natira yung mga may konting withdrawal pa siya from DDS days niya. Okay.
Pero mostly ang mga niya is criticizing yung rally sa Davao.
Right.
So more on ganun yung mga vlogs niya recently. Pero very active na din siya sa politika. Ulit.
Yeah, now of course that sets the tone. Speaking of DDS, there's no more DDS than the father of DDS, Rodrigo Rua Duterte, otherwise known as ano ba yung Karen pag mapapamak na naman Kevin of Ken of our polit si tatay sabi ni mami wag na natin. Okay bro, ito we are magpakapait na tayo. Okay, ito bro. Obviously, we all expected Tatay Digong to come out kind of guns blazing. And in fact, I was a bit surprised that Baste kind of got the ball rolling when he called on President BBM to resign. I want to ask you, were you surprised by how intense it got? Like, I mean, alam naman natin may tendency mag-wild off the script si Tatay Digong. We saw that for 6 years straight. Believe me, I know that. I had to break down his Sona speeches and all of that. My goodness. Bumalik yung migraine natin. But it was like even crazier than we thought, right? Like,
I was surprised.
you were thinking the craziest and then he topped that, di ba?
Oo. Kasi you were thinking na na baka maghinay-hinay because of the possible retaliation from Malacanang.
Yeah.
A few days before that, parang medyo medyo mabait na siya eh. 'Di ba? Medyo nakikiusap para sa SMNI, tapos biglang doon sa rally, biglang puro PI, puro bangag. So I was
that got intense,
shocked talaga. I didn't expect na ganun. Na I was expecting mga konting pitik lang, konting lang. Hindi ko na all-out declaration of war itong si PRRD doon sa kanyang Davao rally. And I'm sure, siguro tingin ko maski si Amy, she was expecting siguro na ganun kabigat.
Or si Baste,
Diba?
diba? Or even Baste, diba? She immediately said, hindi, nag-apologize yan si Baste, diba? Parang nagganon si Amy, Tita Amy, diba?
And si Baste parang parang coming out party for Baste sa political stage eh. Kasi before, di ba, he was tahimik lang. So, yun na, and I've been saying this for a few years now. Baste, kaboses nung tatay niya eh. Yung mannerism nung tatay niya, yung tapang, yung mura. And if you close your eyes, nagsasalita si Baste, it's like you're listening doon sa tatay.
Yeah, yung timing niya, the way he speaks Bisaya, yung tina-timing niya, 'di ba? I can understand Bisaya, but I was listening to the cadence. Of course, later you can check the translation. Parang you're right, actually. May ang lakas nung PRRD yung signature. You're correct. I don't know about si Polong, hindi ko pa siya napakinggan ng husto. But you're right.
Si Polong medyo din, pero yung si Basti talaga ang talagang...
Sabagay, mayor din kasi siya ngayon. So, talagang he's speaking also as a mayor. Talagang may element na ganun. Good point.
Siguro
Very good
yung
point.
being mayor brought out yung confidence sa kanya.
Very good point,
and yung pagiging mas responsable sa kanya. Unlike before, di ba, na parang surfer dude, na parang relax lang, chill lang.
Yeah,
So,
but that's a
siguro being
branding,
mayor,
bro. But that's a good branding, di ba? Like, I'm chill, I'm not power hungry, I'm a cool guy. Oh, and astig, di ba? I think that actually helped him. I think that whole yung
malaki. So,
malakas
yun
yan actually.
They are preparing
Can
na
I get my charger,
the
please?
next batch of
Sa room.
parang Duterte na that can on the national stage. So parang coming out party talaga for Baste yung kanyang pagsalita ng ganun.
Very good point. Very good point.
Ayun, and it also din kasi the Marcoses are coming for them eh. Kahit yung kanilang hometown na Davao eh. Yun ang matunog na usap-usapan that the administration wants the Dutertes all out. Tatanggalin lahat. A familiar foe. Di ba yung mga Nograles? Yun ang mga usap-usapan na...
Dami, ang dami nila, di ba? Yeah. I mean, I remember Davao friends saying that, I mean, it sounded strange to me, but now I kind of see their point na actually kung hindi daw nanalo si Digong noong 2016, most likely tapos na yung dynasty nila. Na in a way, Digong needed to win that elections kasi di ba? Medyo alanganin na rin sila at home eh. I mean, of course, now we see Duterte's as parati naman in retrospect you think something was inevitable, but it was not eh. If he didn't win the presidency, may vacuum na yan. And if he lost it big time, my goodness, may opening na yung iba, di ba? And luckily for them, it didn't happen. But yun nga, ang problema ko naman dito, I'll go back again to Digong's speeches. This is the difference with Arroyo, di ba? Former President Arroyo is largely acting like a former president. I was above the fray and I'm just here to serve and all of that. Digong, totally. I mean, for 6 years, binash na si Pinoy, binash na si Ramos, lahat binash na Amerika. And then ngayon, binabash pa niya yung sumunod sa kanya na aliado niya dati. Ako, before going to yung itong defiance of reality thing, I was sinabi niya, ando ka sa listahan, pero dahil magkakilala tayo, nung una sabi niya magkakaibigan, and then, hindi tayo kaibigan, hindi ko na tinuloy yung kaso. So, parang umamin siya na, di ba? Na kung kaibigan tayo,
sa kanya yun,
di ba? Yung parang actually,
kaibigan mo pala, hindi mo gagalawin.
So, arbitrary. Hindi ito base talaga sa facts, di ba? Or the merits of the case. So, medyo, umaamin-amin na siya sa sa ano yan, modus operandi niya. But do you think this is also about him not accept? Kasi kung titingnan mo yung highlight na pinost ko, which has done like 4 million views I think on Instagram alone. Ito yung pinaka-feeling ko. Imagine, I'm having meetings with Foreign Ministry, Defense Ministry, METI, like talking serious stuff on the sides. Nag-check ako ng speech ni Digong, listening slow. Ito, yung part na kinall out niya si First Lady, di ba? And then, sinabi niya, ito talagang ayaw ko mangyari. Like, parang he was saying, I saw this coming. Na talagang dapat wala kang tiwala pag di ba he was saying na we should have never trusted you guys and it was a mistake that I didn't let my daughter win it or something like that. Pag ganun yung implications din, di ba? So makikita mo na parang he vindicated. I think that's a term I didn't use in my previous vlogs, and may pagka sense of vindication si Digong na I always said etong mga Marcoses hindi magpagkatiwalaan mga to, and then he went on this complete of offensive, literally offensive mode of accusing a sitting president of engaging illegal lifestyle. Diba? I mean, like, and he did that all in 2 minutes, bro. It took me 1 hour vlog to analyze 2 minutes of his speech. I mean, it's just incredible, right? I mean, you can say because medyo sabog, you can say, but actually it's also because he does that. He says 4 things at the same time. Actually, I analyze Trump. He does the same also. The populists, they tend to do that. They're multi-messaging ang tawag ko dyan. Parang kung may multi-platform, sila multi-messaging. So, sa isang paragraph, dami nilang target na audience. So, very efficient sila. Actually, that's a good analysis. Actually, I'll write it down. I noticed that, kaya, kahit di mo ma-follow yung train of thought nila, they talk yung mga buzzwords. So kung ikaw, naghahanap ka ng Marites, andun yung Marites niya. Kung ikaw ay naghahanap ng if ikaw naghahanap ng kritisismo sa Chacha, andun yun. Kung ikaw naghahanap ng challenging at saka pagyabang, andun yan. Kung ikaw naghahanap actually ng analysis ng Chacha, so multi-messaging, yun yung skills ng populist. They don't sound articulate, they sound sabog even. But if you look at the emotional impact, I think that's where, I don't want to use the word genius, but I think that's where the smarts, communication smarts comes in, right? Pansin mo rin, di ba? Like 2 minutes na pinost.
Yung charisma, lumalabas.
Oo.
Pag pinagtan mo yung speech ni BBM at ni former President Duterte, yung kay BBM was more generic, normal na speech na sometimes, di ba, na parang medyo maboboring ka din after a while, ganon. Yung kay Duterte, parang inaabangan mo. Parang merong, Zian Gaza revelation na hinihintay mo kung...
Ayan na naman tayo, Nag-plug in ka naman ng beshi mo. Nainggit na ako, Talagang authority mo talaga si Zian Gaza. Richard, hintayin mo yan. Meron akong data na parating kay Zian. Tapos, shucks, totoo pala si Zian Gaza! Nung lumabas yung buong video dun sa poblasyon, like, oh my God, nagkamali si Tulfo, nagkamali si Risa. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. Shucks, bro. Tama si Shian.
It's really, talagang fun to watch Talagang tapos may comedy, yung comedic timing niya.
Diba talaga, kaya nga, that's my question, bro. So, that's my question, right? What is charisma if not for emotional connection and impact? Diba? I mean, madaling sabihin charisma yan, but what is really charisma? Diba? Charisma is when you talk to someone or someone to, parang nakaka-relate ka sa kanya, parang ang gaan ng feeling mo sa kanya, or parang na-excite ka sa kanya, diba? Yun yung charisma And yun yung meron talaga kay Digong, meron kay... It's a political communication skills in the 21st century. Siguro yung panahon, pag ganyan ka magsalita, ka na sa presinto, diba? Magpaliwanag ka sa presinto. But in our age of social media, spontaneity, self-promotion, virality, very good point, bro. Ang dami mong magandang point today, We're busted to this. Actually, I'm really enjoying this. Nag-pick up yung discussion natin, Yes, this multi-messaging strategy is very effective, bro. Kasi yun nga, sabi ko, I listen to Duterte, I really try my best, and then I come up with so many emotions. Naiirita ako, natatawa ako, naiinis ako, nag-aalala ako, di ba? Yung parang lahat na yan. Tapos na-excite ako, di ba? Like, ang dami mo. Manood ka ng speech ni, I don't know, si BBM, parang, magaling speechwriter. Parang gano'n lang. Honestly, Yun lang talaga. Okay, fairness, okay. Pero yung hindi kong parang, wow. I mean, kung ibe-brain scan mo yung mga tao, or alam mo yung mga scanning hit, mga ganyan, ang daming na mga juices are, getting moving. Like, gets mo ka na high blood ka, na ano ka. Have you noticed that? Di ba? Parang ganun din yung analysis ko dito eh. There's some emotional connection that Duterte establishment. Again, I'm not the content.
Yung while watching yung speech, mas umano sa akin yung ang word na pumapasok sa akin is hubris tsaka arrogance. It is one thing to talk like that when you're president. Lahat sumusunod sa'yo, lahat hawak mo, lahat ng bumangga sa'yo, di ba, will take on the full resources of the government. It's a completely different thing kapag nandun ka sa labas. Kapag ikaw parang he's even taunting the government. O anong gagawin? O sasabihin ko, bangag ka, sasabihin ko, ganito ka, sasabihin ko, first lady, ganito, sasabihin ko, anong gagawin nyo? Parang he's even taunting eh. So hindi ko talaga magets anong strategy that he wants to put himself in that position. Plus, I think he was expecting for the people to stand up, for the people to rally, for the people to parang may ganong expectation eh. But the thing is, may pagrarally yung mga supporters niya sa social media lang eh. Marami keyboard warriors. You won't see them on the ground. Kanina, sa liwas ng Bonifacio, merong Sara...
Wait lang bro,
Sara
did you stop for a moment? Kasi medyo maharlika yung... Kasi medyo maharlika yung eyeglasses ko. Is that why you paused a little when I put that on? Like...
medyo
Nung paglagay ko, sorry kasi masakit yung ulo ko sa usual I put eyeglasses pag ganyan. Paglagay ko biglang nagpa-pause sis. Okay, no, that's a very
yung
ahead.
Yung kay Sara kanina was I think less than 100 or 200 people lang nandun sa liwasan when they called out people na mag-mini rally ganun. 'Di ba? So maybe Duterte was expecting na people would stand up, people would go against the Marcoses, maybe another EDSA revolution. But no eh. Marami silang followers, bastos yung mga ibang followers nila. Pero hanggang social media lang, you can't expect them to go out on the streets. You can't expect them to haharangan mo yung mga pulis, haharangan mo yung... Diba? Hindi eh. Hindi ko talaga mag-get kung ano yung objective niya in doing that. Aside from riling up his base. Kasi yung base lang yung and he even lost some supporters dahil yung mga crazy ideas like separating Mindanao, which we will talk about later. So hindi ko magets talaga yung strategy ni Duterte, or are they desperate na dahil either aarestohin na naman tayo. Ano naman tayo? Sabihin ko na
Might as well. Go for broke. Parang ganun, go for broke.
Go for broke eh. Pero
yeah.
Yun ang aking talaga, hindi ko magets anong strategy ninyo moving forward? Or is this a play for 2025 para puro senador nyo yung papasok? Pero ginagalit mo yung Malacanang eh. And diba?
I agree.
If before, so ikaw Richard, ano tingin mo? Anong strategy? Anong napalaan nila in doing that? Anong end game ang pwede mong ma-achieve through that? Kasi the military won't budge that. Wala ka naman eh. Di ba, he's calling on the military, the police, huwag yung ganun. It won't work that way na pagtatawag kang ganun.
Yeah.
Pero ikaw, what do you think?
No, I mean, this is again, thank you for saying this, because as much as I was talking about the power of multi-messaging and all, that makes sense when you're on the upward swing as a politician. Sa election and as when you are in a position of power. But if you do that outside those scenarios, then you're essentially nuisance ka, 'di ba? You're either nuisance or worse than a nuisance, right? You're gonna be a target, 'di ba? So this is where I'm beginning to wonder, does he still have it? I'll just be honest, right? Does he still have it? Parang ano na to eh. Go for broke na to kagad. So he has the information that ICC is really coming. That is really a matter of time before parang unahin ko na lang to, 'di ba? I'm not gonna sit back like a, I'm not gonna be a sitting duck essentially. No? I'm not gonna be the lamb willingly brought to this, diba? I'm not gonna go gently into the night. I'm thinking of all of those metaphors, right? No, I'll go for broke, diba? End of the world mode na tayo. May pagka ganun eh. I mean, you could
Scorched earth.
scorched earth, lang scorched earth,
If you
burn
are
down,
magkakagulo.
burn down the palace kind of mode. Diba? Alam mo yung, nanood ka ng Samurai X? Di ba yung
Hindi.
kalaban niya yung, okay, kung yung mga na samurai, yung isang part na kalaban niya, yung isang guy na parang go for broke siya, binurn down na lang niya yung buong ship niya, gano'n. So may pagka gano'n, di ba? But I want to end this episode on this note before we go to the broader implications, because you correctly pointed out, what's happening right now is, okay, you're the weaker party, ayaw mong tanggapin yan, by trying to defy that in this way, you're actually becoming even weaker. Baka nga may more fighting chance ka sana kung, kasi at the end of the day, you still don't want to underestimate them. As Ronald Richard Alden's Llamas correctly pointed out, time is, if they survive the next year or two, then time will be on their side because Sara is still the lead, right? A leading candidate, diba? So,
In elections, they're still strong.
pero the next year or two will be crucial. This is where things could be decided. So, logically, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing right now, right? So, either he has an insider information na tama siguro si Trillanes after all, or it's also a combination of that and he's simply not in his best. Kaya I wonder why the others are not making interventions, and then you also wonder why Pantaleon Alvarez is also there in that camp and all of that, which we'll discuss more in the next camp when we talk about Mindanao secession and all of that. But I want to end on people about, is Marcos looking weak or is Marcos looking mature and statesmanlike? The kind of response he has. Because it's not like walang response si BBM. Di ba? Nung tinanong siya, he also hindi, fentanyl na tatay, parang gano'n, paya ka na. Di ba? Parang, that's not BBM. That's not usually the BBM. And the way he said, gumanon na talaga siya. Gumanon na. So, you could see na nagpakita rin siya ng humanity niya. Kasi yun yung usually inis ng ibang tao kay BBM, yung supporters ng Uniteam dati. Sabi nila, naalala ko yun, nanalo si BBM at saka Sara. Sir, okay naman ako kay BBM kaso mas nakaka-relate ako kay Digong above the phrase si BBM. But I think that moment na inis na nahirita din siya, actually that also the BBM support base. And ang daming mga dilaw and pink and the rest also natuwa doon. Based on the crazy reception I saw online, especially in some of my platforms where I suspect yung followers ko are more of a certain group than others. I think more diversified on YouTube. Do you think BBM is being mature and smart about this, or do you think that he's still looking a little bit parang yung weak leader idea he's actually feeling? Kasi parang you would think this is the opening na. Ito na yung casus belli, di ba? This is the perfect justification for BBM to go in and tapusin niya yung usapan. Or, something that we mentioned a while ago, maybe Sara is talking to BBM, say, please, sir, BBM, wag mo nang pansinin wag mo nang siyang pansinin, I'm still with you. Feeling ko ganun na, kasi doon ko rin nagigets bakit si First Lady ganun di ba? Yung si First Lady, nakikita mo, naiinis din siya na parang, whatever Sara saying, I don't care. They're crossing a line di ba? Hindi niya hinehello si Sara, di ba? Kita mo ilang beses niya ginawa yan, di ba? Or ayaw niya pag-usapan yan, especially sa pre-departure sa Vietnam. Tell me your view about this. Do you think optimal yung response ni BBM, or maybe he is right? Maybe he should be safe.
Sa akin, close to perfect response doon sa may kumbaga syempre parang Bardagulan and you need something na may pite pero statesman, parang statesman pa rin, tas may concern pa rin. Parang hindi pa rin niya directly binlame si Duterte.
Sinabi niya PBBM. PRRD. He still he used the term PRRD, President Rodrigo Duterte. Si conscious pa.
Yeah. I think ang galing and kasi he's still on message pa rin doon sa kanyang unity na sinasabi na yun pa rin yung kanyang goal kahit na mayroong mga baka naman kasi dahil sa fentanyl lang yan o mga doktor, so yung mga doktor pa yung sinisi, tingnan nyo naman, baka naman gano'n. So sa akin ganda and yung reaction online was ang ganda, kumbaga maraming humanga doon sa kanyang kasi may tamang amount of pitik. And the thing is, lahat ng mga sasabihin ni PRRD moving forward, pwede mong idikit doon sa sinabi niya yun eh. So that's one response for everything. Diba? Kahit anong sabihin moving forward ni Tatay Digong, diba? Pwede mong ikabit doon sa sinabi niya na yun. So, ang near perfect response on the part of BBM and yung mga supporters niya and yung mga ibang tao din ay acknowledging it online. Na ang ganda nung sagot niya na yun.
Ako kasi my take is a bit medyo I'm still debating with myself kasi bro, if behind the scenes niluluto na nila yung in-expect natin na checkmate, then this looks like a very good strategy. And then there's the other part of me saying na he's still looking, you know what I'm saying? This how should I put it? Kaya ang problema ko naman dito sa situation na yun, yes, you could argue that in a way, nagbe-bleed ng political capital yung isang side to the benefit of BBM. But you would expect BBM to also draw the line because in effect, you're also encouraging, kasi pansin mo, yung video ni Martin Romualdez na pinost ko, si Martin Romualdez umatak back na kaagad. So, is this good cop, bad cop? Is this kanya-kanyang diskarte? Yun nga eh.
Diba? It plays to the character of the people involved.
Right.
Parang ako medyo nag-avoid talaga ako ng conflict eh.
Oh yes. And
diba?
Sometimes better to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Oo eh. More on. So yun din ang personality ni BBM. So yun ang role na piniplay niya. And he doesn't have to get in the mud with everyone na umaatake sa kanya. That's why his cousin does the dirty work for him. Yun ang nakikipag sa
Bardagulan.
Tapos of course, for example, di ba, si Congressman Zaldico with the 51 billion kay Baste. So, kay Baste kay Pulong. So, may mga ganong, so, yung people around him are doing the dirty work of battling it out with the side Dutertes. And he could stay above the fray, which is, yun nga, pareho nga doon sa personality niya. Na parang polar opposite nung kay Digong na confrontational at ang hilig sa away.
Good point. I think that perfectly sets the tone for our next episode kasi pag-usapan natin dito is Duterte versus the rest of Mindanao, right? Because we are clearly seeing other Mindanao leaders from Zamboanga to Bangsamoro, all of them saying, ay, wala kaming alam dyan. And the fact na none of them attended yung rally, andun lang si Pantaleon Alvarez, says a lot. Yung mga wala rin sa rally sa Davao also says a lot about his situation in Mindanao. Thank you very much. I think we ended exactly on where I wanted this episode to end. Yun nga, just to be clear, guys, if I intervene sometimes, instead I'm coming in, is because I want to make sure the conversation is within a certain frame of mind. Otherwise, saboging discussion goes all over the place. All right? I hope people appreciate why aggressively nagmo-moderate ako. All right? And I want to get the most out of my my interlocutors and my co-host in this case, like our good friend si Mark Gamboa. Thank you so much, my great friend Mark Gamboa, for this fascinating episode. Just to be clear, did you say nakaka-relate ka kay BBM na paras kayong conflict avoidant?
Na-avoid yung conflict. You can see it naman sa my vlogs eh. Diba?
In fairness, that's a good point.
Kumbaga, si Digong si Banat Bay. Ako ako yung, di ba? Parang gano'n naman eh. Obvious naman dun sa mga So, yun na talaga yung personality.
Well, and it kind of worked for you, and it worked for BBM so far. You're both pretty successful in your own world. So, there are many ways to get to Rome, right? So, do you? Do you
happy?
Ikaw, who you to question, do you? Alright, okay, on that note, thank you very much. Ngayon, let's go na. Ito na, magsisimula na, mainit-init na yung usapan. Woo! Let's go! Pag-usapan natin, Philippines minus. Bakit sinama pa yung Palawan? But anyway, pag-usapan natin yan sa next episode. Thank you very much, Mark Gamboa. Latest episode of Project Pilipinas. Dahil mahal na mahal natin ang ating bayan, especially yung Bardagulan.
Buong Pilipinas.
Buhat! Maganda. Okay, yun yung entry natin sa next episode. Okay. Alright. Okay. Go. That's good point. Uy, ang ganda ng discussion na yan. Balikan ko yan mamaya. Ganda na.
Dito sa Mindanao, naku, mas passionate pa ako dito.
Okay. Go. Go na tayo. Okay. Welcome to the latest episode of Project Pilipinas. As of this hour,
Hello.
The Philippines includes Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and Palawan. But may mga iba dyan na may ibang ideas or I don't know, Karen ba yan? Or ano ba yan? Is this a sentiment against Imperial Manila? Whatever. Pag-usapan natin yan. Between you and I, ikaw mas Manila boy, okay? Although I've lived Manila than anywhere else place. I'm still a Baguio boy and I'll always be. Speaking of Mindanao secession, do you think that was also one of the crazy parts of his speech? Because you see, Mark, it's one thing for him to make personal insults against the president because it's an insult unless substantiated, right? Although, medyo libelous talaga siya just to be mild about it. But ibang usapan if incitement to rebellion and call for secession. This is, some legal experts would say, an act of, you know what I'm saying? You can essentially expect, you know what I'm saying, right? So, this is an act against the state of the Philippines, the Republic of the Philippines, in a way, Project Pilipinas, right? Kaya nga Project Pilipinas. What do you think about that part? Was it like tatay on like next level
Yes.
steroids? Like what the heck was going on there, bro? That's incitement to rebellion. That's a high crime. By some interpretation. Doon ko napansin, biglang sabi ng supporters ni BBM or yung mga kunyaring hindi, hindi, ano lang yan, tatay, usually, this is sabihin nila, tatay is just being tatay, don't take him literally, the usual stuff. But that sounded like incitement to rebellion to me, and that's a high crime, if ever that's really the case.
True. Oh. That's, para sa akin, that's the most dangerous part ng kanyang buong speech. Diba? Yung iba, puro politika yan eh. Puro about sa PI, about sa personal ni BBM. Sa akin, kung magsalita siya about doon, he's just holding the government accountable. Diba? That's one thing. Diba? Pwedeng ano yan eh. Karapatan niya yan to say all of that. Pero when you... The thing is, Duterte, he knows na it's impossible yung gusto niyang mangyari. Alam niya yan. Legally, walang ganon. Sinasabi niya, pupunta ka lang daw sa UN, meron kang daladalang pirma, pwede na kayong umiwalay. And
medyo tatay talks na yan, barangay talk na yan.
Ang dangerous part dyan, many of his supporters, naniniwala. Kasi nagpo-post din ako sa TikTok, doon sila sumasagot.
Yeah.
You would see a lot of mga...
Ngayon, live, as we speak, marami pa rin nag-support, iwalay ng Mindanao. I'm seeing it live now. Yung mga pro-Duterte supporters natin.
At first, I was really bothered. Pero, as the days progress, mas naiintindihan ko, mas na-accept ko, and mas mas naiintindihan ko yung buong sitwasyon, and mas na-realize ko kung ano yung isasagot ko sa kanila.
Right.
Okay? Kasi, yun siguro yun yung magandang what if you talk to someone na follower ni Digong, he would say to you, ay, gusto ko umiwalay na yung Mindanao kasi kayong Luzon, kinukurakot nyo yung pera, nagpapasok lang kami ng pera dyan, tapos ang konti nang bumabalik. So this past few days, ang dami kong na-realization na in answering some of their concerns.
Right.
Pero I always come from a place of love. I always acknowledge
na
merong...
Just to be clear, both of us come from position of love. I know medyo mas mukha akong mayabang and judgmental, Richard and all, but both of us are doing this because we're coming from a position of love. Kahit sinong binoto mo, Pilipino ka pa rin, mahal ka namin. It's just we disagree and we hope you'll consider alternative views. Just to be clear about that,
Yes, definitely. Let's try to avoid Luzon versus Mindanao arguments. Kasi ganun ang gusto nilang mangyari.
Yeah.
Diba? So ang ganda ng mga ito coming from
correct.
Baguio boy, si Attorney Libayan. Ang sinabi ni Digong dun sa speech niya, kayong taga Luzon, wala namang kayong pakialam sa amin. Wala namang kayong, parang gano'n, wala namang kayong tinutulong sa amin. Kami yung bigay ng bigay. Ang ganda nung sinabi ni Attorney Libayan dyan. Doon ako na-touch talaga. I reposted it. Wala kaming naibigay sa inyo. Wala kaming naitulong. Yung being someone from Cordillera, ang daming mga soldiers, PMA, SAP 44, galing sa military. And he was, kumbaga parang na-insulto siya doon sa sinabi ni Duterte na walang na-contribute yung mga taga Luzon or taga ibang lugar as someone coming from Baguio na ilang sundalo.
Sorry. I want to just share yung data, no? Just
can you hear me? Ilang sundalo
sorry,
ang nagbuwis ng buhay nila.
Correct.
For para sa Mindanao, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao na mga sundalo coming together to solve the
That's a good point.
terrorist problem and the crisis sa
Oh,
Mindanao.
ito yung bro, no? So as you can clearly see here,
Yun. So, yun eh. Kumaga, you were going to show us revenue collection. That's very important.
yeah.
Libayan naman is sa buhay.
Of
Buhay
course, of
tao, which is,
course.
diba? You could say priceless.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Sorry,
Um,
I'm just saying. Before we go to the bigger issue of sacrifice for the country, West Philippines, si mga ganon, sana naman ma-appreciate nyo naman, 84%, more than 84% of revenues came from NCR lang, 'di ba? Kung sinama mo pa yung Calabarzon and other Luzon areas, that's what, almost 90%. I mean, so I hope people realize na if tinignan mo yung population ng ibang regions ng country, they're more than 30%. But they're contributing what? Just over 10% of revenue. So, you see a 3-to-1 ratio there. So, where do you, sa tingin nyo, saan galing yung equalizer? Diba? Bro, let me also push back against it. Ganito, I completely agree with Attorney Liba. He's a good friend of my fellow Baguio boy. I wanna also add na I completely understand yung inis ng ating mga kababayan from Mindanao, Visayas, especially from Mindanao. I've been to Mindanao. I don't know, bro, how many times you've been to Mindanao. I've been to many places in Mindanao and talagang nakakabahala yung pagkakulang ng development. But please do not blame us in Manila. Blame the trapos and warlords and those horrible people taking away the money that we send from Imperial Manila, I hate to use that word, to subsidize development in those areas. Ang problema is we're not empowering directly the people of Mindanao and Visayas. Because we have to course this through with the trapos and all of that. Walang masyadong umaabot sa ating mga minamahal na kapatid sa Mindanao and Visayas. So please guys, instead of just blaming Manila people all the time, our national government, realize that we are on your side. But the mistake is that this is not being coursed directly to you. So you have to fight for this and you have to find that we are allies, we are on the same side, but we have to fight together so that we can get you the empowering funds to you. So we are really sorry kung mahina yung mga state institutions natin. Kaya nga sabi ko, we need the opposite of federalism. What we need is a strong, capable, and responsible national government that will help the ordinary people of Visayas and Mindanao and not rely on the warlords and dynasties who deliver them the votes. I mean, let's be honest. In 2004, I doubt Arroyo would have been the president again if not for you know who, right? I mean, guys, come on. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's the problem we have. There's a kind of a pact between national dynasties and the warlords in Mindanao and all of that so that they deliver during national. And then in the end, sila lang nagbe-benefit. So
sinasabi ko din sa
sorry
blog
about that, bro. I really had to comment on that. Kaya nga, sorry, I just wanted to bring that out. Usapan pera ito. I'm just saying, we are both victims of trapos. Eh, dito nga sa Manila, laki ng contribution namin. Di namin nakikita sa infrastructure kumpara sa trabaho namin input namin. Kayo, you deserve to be able to contribute to the economy like what we're doing here. But ang problema is, andun sa gitna, itong mga warlords and dynasties who are taking over the money. Sorry, I had to do that real talk talaga eh. Kasi nag-real talk din yung Baguio boyfriend ko eh.
Kailangan tignan natin yung actual facts kasi it's being twisted eh. And ako sinasabi ko din naman, yung Cebu, Iloilo, it's far from Manila. Meron din namang mga kurakot dyan. Pero bakit ganun yung economy nila, ganun yung, di ba, ang ganda sa Cebu and all that. Pero ang number one...
Walang war kasi, bro. I mean, now you're being unfair. May war kasi sa... No, bro, let's be fair naman to them.
Oh, yun talaga. Years and decades of conflict. Yun na nga, the funny thing was, kung kailan nga natapos yung sa MILF, and di ba, kung kailan nagsisimula nang makita mo yung peace, bigla kang magpapasok ng ideas na ganito. You're planting new seeds sa utak ng mga taga Mindanao na dapat tumiwalay tayo. In the first place, yan yung nag-hold sa kanila for many decades because of the war na yung mga secessionist movement. And eto, meron din akong the thing is, itong mga na-accept ko na merong mga DDS na talagang kahit anong sabihin mo, they would say, wala na. Republic of Mindanao.
Hindi nga but is it Republic of Mindanao? I think it's more Republic of Davao or Republic of Digong.
Yes,
because
yun nga,
Sara is not supporting
pero
this.
Siyempre sasabihin kung tagasan man sila sa Mindanao. But I wouldn't call them Mindanao separatists. I call them diehard Duterte separatists. Okay? I don't use the name Mindanao. Kasi marami sa Mindanao. I think majority of Mindanao pagod na sa gera. And sinasabi ko na lang pag may nakakausap ako, gusto ko Republic of Mindanao. Sabi ko, fine. If you want to follow the footsteps of MNLF, MILF, learn from history. Tingnan mo kung if you want to follow their footsteps, hindi kita mapipigilan. I would just pray for you na sana magbago yung ano mo. Kasi that's the last thing Mindanao needs. Another conflict, another, di ba? Kahit sabihin mo ng mababaw eh. The thing is, Tatay knows na imposible yung gusto niya. Mas bothered ako dun sa reaction ng tao.
I think that's the most bothering part of speech. As a Filipino, I would say I was really bothered. I mean, yung mga attack niya kay President, of course I was bothered because even if I'm not a fan of BBM, I'll just be honest about it, everyone knows that. He's the President of the Philippines. He embodies the dignity of the Philippine state, sure. Pero calling for disintegration essentially for a state after 6 years of not standing up to China in the West Philippines, like, what else is this guy? I mean, what are you trying to get out of? You know, I mean, this is crazy. This is unacceptable. Pero by the way, I realize, yung SAF 44, marami doon sa mga namatay, ay galing sa amin, sa Cordilleras region.
Cordillera.
This is a very emotional issue to us. PMA is in my city, Baguio.
Yes.
That's where we train the patriots of this country. So, sorry, I'm getting emotional about this. Pero, medyo bastusan na to, bro, kasi talagang you know what I'm saying, marami tayong mga kaibigan, kapatid, ilan nagsakripisyo para talunin yung mga terorista na yan, mga mauten na yan, mga ganyan, yung mga Abu Sayyaf, mga guys, tapos sasabihin mo maghiwalay kayo na basta-basta ganyan. So na-trigger talaga tayo. I would say nakaka-trigger talaga lalo yung part na yan. Parang ibang part natatawa ka na lang, pero
to trigger us, di ba?
Nakaka-trigger,
Parang din deterrence din na ipaparesto nyo ako, magkakagulo dito. So I think yun, more on yun ang objective eh. Mas nababother ako yung the number of people na diehard na naniniwala sa sinasabi niya and pinapakalat yung ganun. So ako na-accept ko na, sige fine, if that's what you think, di ba? If you want to follow MNLF, MILF, di ba? Pero we all know how that will end. Ako, ang ayoko lang is yung bloodshed, Pilipino laban sa Pilipino. And ang maapektuhan din yung mga taga Mindanao kasi hindi umaasenso. Investors are scared to come in pag may gera, turista, hindi papasok, di ba? And natatakot makita.
Bro, damay ang buong Pilipinas. Ano ka ba? I mean, I was just in Tokyo, right? Talking to friends, officials and all. Parang tingin nila sa atin nung iba. I'm not saying Japanese per se kasi kasama ko kay Bain. Parang Banana Republic, buong Pilipinas. Saan ka nakahanap ng sitwasyon kung saan yung ex-president mo, sinasabi na nagda-drugs yung, you know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, this is bad for the whole country. I know natatawa yung iba kasi naglagay ako ng survey, popcorn yung pinakamataas na vote, 76%. Pero sa totoo lang, yung option 1 na sinabi ko, it's sad. Is actually my stance. Alright, I'm not a fan of Digong, I'm not a fan of BBM, but my goodness, I'm a fan of the Philippines, and this is crazy. This is bad for our country. We look like a banana republic. So as a journalist, obvious, and vlogger, in a way, it's good for us because may content tayo. But as a Filipino, I'm crying inside. This is crazy. This is unacceptable. What kind of situation is this? Alright, and now we have people from Turkey and other countries also watching from here. So this is what I'm saying, bro. I mean, nakakabahala yan. But what was not so nakakabahala is parang sila lang yun. Because over the coming days, you have folks in these congressional leadership, folks from Zamboanga, I think both Del Norte, Del Sur, from Bangsamoro, all of them coming out and saying, ewan ko sa kanya, di ba? Actually, I'll tell you something, bro. Nung time na nasa Baguio ako, I forgot how they say it in Ilocano, but there was like a picture of Uniteam, and then like, okay, like, of course, the best si BBM. And then, biglang comment dun sa isa. It's a way of like saying in Ilocano na itong mga Karen na taga, you know what I'm saying? So, it actually reinforces this toxic tribal North versus South rivalry, which again is not good. I mean, of course, I'm super proud of being an Ilocano, but my number one, mas Filipino tayo. And I don't like these things coming out eh. And I'm even hearing other things. Meron din na ibang version na yung Romualdez naman daw ang nagpap... You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this... You see what, you know what I'm saying? So kasi we see attack on BBM as attack on all of us. I'm not saying that's my case, but that's how it is perceived in Baguio and other places that I visit.
Totoo. Sa akin, ang pinaka-important doon sa mga nagsalita sa Mindanao, for me, yung dalawa. One from the Bangsamoro government and the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, which are mga former leaders of MNLF and the MILF. Sinasabi ko dun sa mga bashers ko din, itong mga tao to, hindi sila yung keyboard warrior lang na gusto kong humiwalay ang Mindanao.
Real warrior
They
mga to.
actually bear arms. Talagang they were willing to
Yeah.
lose their life para doon sa gusto nilang mangyari, which was either hiwalay or autonomy.
Yeah.
Diba? So ang laking bagay na sa kanila mismo nang galing. Na pagod na kami sa gera. We work so hard to get this peace na meron tayo ngayon, tapos sisirain natin ng ganyan. So wag naman sana. So sa akin napakalaking bagay yon coming from them. Plus syempre si Digong walang kakampi, lahat ng mga congressman sa Mindanao oppose this.
Yeah.
Diba? Nagagalit sila sa mga congressman. The thing is, yung mga congressman dyan, sila din yung kamag-anak ng mga governor nyo, ng mga mayor nyo. Sila din yan. So it's the same family. So walang kakampi si Digong doon sa gusto niyang mangyari. And they're going to stretch this. Iikot yan ng Mindanao, magpapapirma sila. And it's heartbreaking, di ba? Kasi alam mong it's planting yung maling ideology doon sa utak ng mga kababayan natin doon. Kaya that's what I'm sad about doon sa buong sitwasyon na to.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Actually, thank you for bringing also Attorney Liban to the discussion. Maybe I'll have a separate discussion with him also. Or we should do also one with RML. Okay. Anyway, last point on this episode before we transition to the next one. Pag-usapan naman natin mga pinks. Swing voters. Swing state, di ba? Exciting na topic yan, di ba? Let's go back to this. Isn't the best argument, not that argument, rational argument always means, but isn't the best argument is like, wait lang, di ba 6 years ka in power? Kung ang dami mong hanash about Mindanao, Imperial Manila, anong ambag mo nung presidente ka? You had 6 years in power, and a lot of those times, you almost had unlimited power because everyone was scared to challenge. I mean, just ko naman, tignan mo naman yung opposition, nag-melt away nung time na yan, which is, of course, something we're gonna discuss. Are they melting back into the fray? Right? I mean, di ba? Yun ang, ambag nyo? You had 6 years. Di ba? In fairness, may point si Martin Romualdez. Bakit biglang kontra kayo dito sa Chacha? Kayo nga nagpo-push for federalism and all of that. Pumalpak lang kayo, so ngayon bitter kayo. I'm not saying I agree with Romualdez, I think, but it's a logical argument to raise, di ba?
And yung si Kong Manix from Zamboanga, he even said, di ba, na sasabihin nyo yan after yung isang district nyo dyan got 51 billion in 3 years. Tapos biglang ngayon sabihin nyo, hindi, gusto na namin humiwalay, ayaw na namin. O, kumbaga, leaving out, kumbaga, madaming regions ang nawalan because doon napunta. Yeah. Tapos ngayon gusto nyo maghiwalay. So, ang daming
Karen
Karen. Ibabalik sa kanila.
Karen talaga.
Because of this.
Dapat Republic of Karen. Okay, thank you so much, bro. I think that's a fantastic discussion. This sets the tone. Ganda ng transition. Pag-usapan naman natin ang hindi natin pinag-usapan masyado. Ito na, mga opposition. Suddenly, they seem to be in an interesting situation, right? Swings.
Tama nga sila.
Baka nga, tama rin sila. Mali na naman tayo. Or maybe not. Pag-usapan natin yan sa next episode. Or maybe not. Talagang Pilipinas, parang parang alam mo yung parang mga Netflix na series, you don't know where it goes Talagang Game of Thrones. On that note, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I really like this episode because lumabas talaga na how emotional we are about our country. Of course, nagdi-disagree tayo, nagpapatawa tayo. Ayan yung mga gilas Pilipinas comments natin. But deep inside, we are serious people. Kaya nga, this is called Pilipinas. Thank you so much for this, bro.
Thank you.
By the way, na-upload ba sa sa Project Pilipinas itong mga latest episodes natin?
Sa Spotify
and Apple Podcast kasi I was also checking it. Kasi people are checking that kasi when I promote my own, I want to also promote ours.
Hindi, pero this one I'll start with this.
Oh, please. Oh, kasi we wanna keep it in the top 3 competition. You wanna have 2 shots sa top 3. Competitive, no? Competitive tayo, di ba? So, I'm super proud. Kaya nagtaka ako, bakit nagtatop pa rin ng Project Pilipinas? Natalo pa nga ako nung isang araw ng Project Pilipinas. Like, wait, he's not even uploading. How can they beat me?
Ano mga episodes?
Bro, I don't know what happened. Siguro may ibang episode na biglang...
Hindi ako nakaka-upload, matagal na.
Sa Apple to, Please pa-upload na lang ito kasi lalo ito Bardagulan na next time.
Yes, I will upload this.
Pasensya bro, thank you so much for that and let's talk naman pink naman tayo sa next episode. Maraming salamat. God bless. Okay, magpalit na tayo ng konti bro para naman may konting diversity. Na-stress ako dun sa topic natin kanya guys. Wait lang
Grabe yung
Oo, bro.
Di ako personal talaga sa akin. Kaya din ako talaga.
Wait, naka-live tayo bro. Just in case. Baka may aawain ka.
Ito, sige.
Alam ko conflict avoidant ka. Wait lang ah. Sa cellphone guys, kung siya papamoy. Sa cellphone. Hindi siya pwede manood sa cellphone na lang. Para hindi siya ma-board. Okay, ito. Let's talk about this. Amigo, let's go. Let's go, amigo. Ay, parang hindi masyadong bagay pala. Never mind. Dapat ibang suit ko. Okay, ito na. Gusto ko sana mag-yellow pero nag-BBM ka na, so baka mag-away tayo. Okay, bro. This is the best way to start itong episode natin. Boom, boom, boom. Ito na, bro. Is this the moment for the real opposition to come out and... Kasi yung iba dyan, I told you, like, hintayin nyo lang, huwag kayong makinig kay Haydarian. Si Haydarian, instigator yan. Echosera yan. Pinupush tayo na maging active. Let's just wait for our sweet time. Is this the sweet time? And tell me a little bit about yung sinasabi mo kanina off the record. Marami kang sinabi off the record, pero hindi ko i-share. Na parang may courtship na nangyari. Parang, to be Chinese, romance of the three kingdoms ang nangyari dito.
Diba? Nililigawan yung mga kakampi na sa amin kayo pumanig kasi salbahe yung kabila. O ganun din yung kabila. Diba? So parang ganun yung nangyayari. Kahit sa vlog mismo ni Maharlika, doon ako nagulat na parang she was addressing the yellows and the pinks. Sabi niya, dati nagmumurahan tayo, ganyan sinasabi niya. Pero alam nyo ba na yung si Lisa, First Lady Lisa, dapat si Lenny tatanggalin yung sa election tribunal ni BBM noon. Dapat dadayain na yan and tatanggalin na siya. Kung hindi lang pinigilan ni Digong. So dapat magpasalamat kayo kasi kung hindi dahil kay Digong,
grabe naman yung teorya na yan.
nadaya na kayo ni middle of her term, matatanggal si Lenny, papasok si BBM. Parang gano'n. So dapat magpasalamat daw ang Pinks kay Duterte at kumampi dito sa laban na to sa kanya. Parang gano'n.
But wait, isn't that kind of true? I mean, I know of course, that's how...
Narinig ko din yan.
No, because Digong could have leaned on, diba, during yung election tribunal issue na yan. And all of us were... Well, I was not surprised. I think that's where I realized Digong really doesn't like BBM. Because I don't think he lifted a finger at all. And that's why so humiliating yung talo ni BBM. And ang laki ng ginastos niya, 200 million, 300 million. So, I think may bad blood na dapat nun But, maybe BBM is not the one holding the grudge. But clearly, Digong was not gonna lift it. Kaya, kasi, di ba in the previous episode, we talked about Basta. Remember, isa sa mga speech ni Basta was, yung ama nyo, di ba? My father buried Marcos Sr. So parang you kind of owe us. So parang I think
Walang utang na loob.
parang ganun yan. Parang we did that. Wala na kaming utang na loob na liligtas ka pa namin dun sa issue ni Lenny, di ba? Considering na mukhang talo talaga si BBM ng 2016 kay Lenny, di ba? In fact, tumaas pa yung numbers. So that's interesting. So Buljak TV is now she's not trying to reach out to me. Kaya nilagay ko yung Maharlika fund.
Wala naman.
I think inabangan ng tao yung interview namin
Mabait siya sa mga pinks at sa mga yellow. Kasi talagang sobrang personal na yung away nila ni First Lady. And kaya galit na galit siya. So parang naghahanap ng kakampi na dapat magalit kayo dyan sa mga sa mga nakaupo ngayon. Kumbaga, kasi if they want to parang magkaroon ng revolution or stand up against the government, they need numbers, di ba? So, another big na block is yung the block supporting Lenny.
Right.
Na parang gano'n na lang. And parang naisip ko lang, yung galit or yung ines ng mga pinks tsaka sa yellow, sa mga Marcoses, that dates back doon sa time ng tatay. Rightfully so, na yung galit nila doon, which was 40 years ago. Yung galit ng pinks at yellows kay Digong was only 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Diba? So parang anong mas matimbang doon, diba? Jail de Lima, diba? Yung mga araw-araw na pang kay Lenny and all that. So, I find it funny lang na ngayon nililigawan na itong mga pinks para mag-side sa kanila. Ito namang mga Marcoses, di ba? Matagal ng usapan, part of the government, pinapasok sa gobyerno, mga dating kay Pinoy, dating kay ano. So, magkaibang style ng panliligaw. Pero I don't know if it's working. Ano ba ang sentimento, Richard?
Kaya nga tinanong ko sa'yo, bro, di ba? Tinanong ko sa'yo. Well, I'm not in touch because I'm kinda out of the... I can actually tell more about... Papahamak ko naman sarili. Alam, ayan na naman tayo, kaya nga ako hindi nga ako iniimbita sa mga events. Sinasabi ko parati kay Ronald, parang parati tayo iniimbita. Sabi ni Ronald, parang ikaw yata ang may kasalanan na since kami nagsasama, ayaw na nila imbitahin si Ronald. Sabi ko, bakit parati ka naman kay Christian Esguerra? Dapat na-cancel out. Mukhang hindi. Mukhang sobrang suspicious sila kay Ronald dahil sa akin. Si Richard kasama mo, may mga plano naman kayong So, no, actually, I'm not. So, I don't know if you watched, well, actually, you confirmed, so I'm not gonna pretend. Hindi, di ba parang napanood mo yung namin ni Ronald,
Yes.
di ba? I was actually pleasantly surprised when Ronald said, and for the first time, nakita ko Ronald openly question my thesis. Like, actually, hindi. May ginagawa sila. Ganyan. Ay, gano'n ba? And of course, I was pleasantly surprised. I was not like bitter na mali ako or gano'n. No, I like, oh, okay, interesting. Oh, habang wala ka, nagbebento ka sa Japan, nag-Shinjuku. Actually, may meeting sila dito sa may San Juan, may ganito, ganyan. So, it looks like there are movements, and base sa surveys na nakita natin, BAM has a good chance to make it to the 2025. Even Kiko has a good chance if
Kiko.
Lenny runs. I think Lenny is a very sure in if ever sa local government level, and pretty good chance also at the national level. And we don't know. Many surprising good things could happen for the opposition. But in a way, parang sinuwerte din sila. Kasi if I'll be honest about it, this Uniteam conflagration, under if let's be honest, if this were really up to Sara and BBM, I think they could have completely controlled this until 2026, 2027. Essentially, you don't scratch me, I don't scratch you back, and then we'll come up with something later on. And nagpapagulo lang naman talaga dito si Digong, and Digong is a wild card, right? As we discussed in previous episode. So, if there are people in the opposition are gonna say, hindi, mali yan si Richard, masyado siyang echosera, tingnan mo ngayon, things are I would say, I'm not sure about that because this was not inevitable. And this is really a wild card situation. And guess what? Still, both Sara and BBM are saying the unity team is together. So, in effect, there's still this tendency to say, Digong is just a wild card, it's, out of the, so wag natin pansinin. So, maybe at the end of the day, the unit team could still hold together. And maybe, bro, what you're saying is more a Buljak TV online blog thing, when in fact, when you talk about high politics, it is possible that the unit team will hold it together. So actually, the other week, I was beginning to doubt my own thesis. Sabi ko, baka tama nga si Ronald. Ito na talaga. This is it. And then the next day, ayan na naman si BBM. Unit team is intact, beso-beso, Sarah's speech. So, Joy Salceda also has a point to a certain degree. I know that Ronald is very skeptical, but Joy Salceda knows the thing about politics, good Machiavellian politics. And ako, honestly, if Sara plays her card well, I think she can hold the unit team together until 25, 26, and then siya na yung reyna. And then it's really up to...
And yun nga, I don't see any... Doon ako doubtful I don't see any path forward for the unit team without Sara being endorsed as the standard bearer. At parang imposible mangyari yun kasi if Sara becomes president sa 2028 or kung ano man, babalikan niya lahat Merong ganung parang yun ang hindi ko pa rin mag-gets na nangyayari ngayon na parang okay with Sara. Pero yun nga, baka once she gets into power, what will hold her back from getting, kumbaga, gantihan yung mga gumawa nung sa tatay
Well,
niya.
maybe Romualdez or some of the other people, but I don't think BBM himself. If BBM supports him,
BBM will be the only one.
yeah, I think
there.
BBM supports him in 2027, 2028, and who knows, maybe even with the rest, they'll patch it up. I mean, alam mo naman sa Philippines. Sabi mo nga nung sa first episode natin, si Arroyo nga biglang nandun na sa kabila. So, these are politicos, bro. These are politicos. So, I won't be surprised. So I'm still confident na mas tama ako kay Ronald na in the end the temptation of convergence of interest will be stronger than the temptation of going for broke. I mean, maybe Tatay Digong wants to go all the way, but in 2027, 2020, things could be very different and in favor of Sara. Unless Sara's number dramatically collapsed and then dramatically nag-increase si Romualdez, or Rafi Tulfo continues with his current trend line because he went from 11% to 25%. Actually, if you give it a 1 year, I won't be surprised Rafi will be 30 to 40%, diba? So actually, Rafi Tulfo for me is the wild card, other wild card here. Because Rafi Tulfo, Senator Tulfo, seems to have good understanding with President BBM. So one wild situation you can imagine is if talagang the unity team falls apart, BBM will support Rafi na lang, Tulfo, as as their unity candidate. But as of now, I think both Rafi Tulfo wants to be out of this thing kasi I think Rafi is smart enough to realize, okay, ayoko makisawsaw dyan. I have my own thing. Let's see later on. And he's been already a target, di ba? Pansin mo, ang daming attack kay Tulfo since naging number 2 siya kay Sara. Guess why, di ba? So, there's that aspect eh. As long as Sara is number 1 sa surveys, way ahead of any other alternatives within the ruling coalition, and then you have this aspect of Tulfo, di ba? There's still a lot of reason for them to hold it together and then just try to ignore Tatay Digong. And as BBM said, alagaan nyo na lang yan, di ba? I mean, essentially, that's what BBM's strategy was. But, of course, everything I said here, bro, will go out of the window if ICC issues warrant of arrest for Digong and then Sara will have to make a decision. There is
I think
no
yung
way
warrant
Sara
is
will
a
still
given
be in
eh.
unity team if that
Ako,
happens.
wala akong question na I think the warrant will come out. Yung pag-aresto ang worried about ako. Paano yung pag-aresto?
Oh yeah, it's not a
If meron
given.
man.
It's not a given. So I think we may agree with Senator Tulfo that the ICC arrest will come this year, but how BBM will act upon it? Kasi so far, di bang style ng BBM, parang Sara din, playing it safe. On one hand, we're not gonna stop them. On the other hand, we're not gonna lift a finger. Parang having it both ways, no? Kaya yung other argument ko naman dito is, tama si Ronald na the Bardagulan is getting crazy. But I think in a situation without ICC, this is manageable. Essentially, Sara and BBM saying, alam ko Sara, di mo control yung tatay mo, hayan mo na lang siya. Okay. And then Sara, pasensya mo yung tatay, alam mo naman, ganyan. Then that's it. Pero in an ICC situation, when BBM wants to impress the West, and this is where actually a weird argument came from, a very interesting argument. Tignan mo yung interview ko with Attorney Robin Carranza, who knows a thing or two about ICC. Ang argument naman ni Robin Carranza, which is I think totally unique, was maybe even US doesn't want the Philippines to cooperate with ICC because the US itself doesn't cooperate with ICC and ICJ. But I expect the EU and other Western countries to nudge BBM to go with the ICC decisions. So there'll be some interesting also, I won't say divisions, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm bringing it to the next level because at the end of the day, this is about Project Marcos rehabilitation of 100%, right? Because this is about Sandro. This is about the next generation. So ang daming mga moving parts, ang daming mga variables, bro. Kaya nga sabi ko, it would be foolish for any of us to say 100% sure na ito yung mangyayaring scenario.
Hindi, at first, tama ka yung Project Sandro, the next generation rehab. Pero that was before the Davao Rally. So after the Davao Rally, this becomes more personal. This becomes, di ba, baka gigil na yung mga nandun sa ano. So,
For
yun nga,
sure,
if
yeah.
Davao didn't happen na rally, baka possible pa na ganoon. Yung sa opposition din, I want to say din na hindi naman totoo na walang ginagawa or nanonood lang yung opposition. Kasi very active naman si Senator Risa, di ba? Yung kanyang investigations kay Cubuloy, kay si former Senator Trillanes.
Just to be clear, sorry, I have to cut you there. I'm not referring, I always said, I'm talking about the core Liberal Party, whatever. I would even say that Leila De Lima, who's now the
Leila De
spokesman,
Lima.
is doing a great job. Franz Castro Riza. But obviously, Riza is not representative. I mean, she's a progressive, right? I'm talking about the liberal opposition, not the progress. I think Franz Castro and Riza are doing a fantastic job. And then you have the interesting case of Leila De Lima, right? But I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about Riza.
Things cannot fully embrace Senator Riza, di ba? To lead the opposition. Parang may ano pa rin na ganun, di ba? Meron pa rin. Hanggang ngayon ba meron pa rin? Parang they're still waiting for Lenny. They still want Lenny sa 2028. Kaya they cannot accept other leaders to step up like Senator Risa, which siya yung highest rank ngayon. Pero may ginagawa naman like si former Senator Leila De Lima, 'di ba? Very active din in pursuing yung mga against the Dutertes. So hindi naman pero tanong ko nga Richard, yung mga kakamping movement, what should they do? Dito sa sitwasyon na to, nag-aaway na yung dati nilang kalaban, should they just ignore? Should they pick a side? Or should they just focus sa 2025? Paano nga bang,
Well,
what's the
you can
best
do
way
all of
to...
the above, right? Ako naman, I think it's very important na magkaroon din ng rally yung totoong opposition to remind everyone that they're still existing. And in that rally, they have to do the three following things. I already laid this out in a vlog, no? So you can see, pinag-isipan ko na mabuti yan. Hindi lang ako
Yeah.
hindi ako hater or whatever, diba? I think they have to be very clear na neither nor. They do not agree with the Chacha moves of Romualdez, but they also do not agree with the secession moves of BBM, and they want ICC to come in. Go out, do the rally, and that 3 points. Just 3 points. I'm not gonna come with 10 to 1. Just 3 points. And with doing that, they're essentially carving out their own identity and policy position. Now, behind the scenes, then we have interesting dynamics. You can have intersectional, cross-purpose. Medyo naging emotional ako kasi this will go to our 4th episode. That was my last interview on CNN Philippines with Pia Hontiveros and all. Was exactly this topic. I said opposition has to be intersectional, fluid, but has to carve out its space. And again, going to the next episode, otherwise it will be boxed out because we're going to talk about basketball too, right? So I use the metaphor of getting boxed out. Kasi di ba usually, let's say, dalawa yung superstar sa dalawang team, pero may iba rin na sobrang galing. Let's say there's a Kobe Bryant but there's a Shaquille O'Neal. But if you just leave it to Kobe Bryant and, I don't know, LeBron James back in the day, di ba? Miami Heat, then maging completely box out ka na, di ba? Parang you're hoping na itong dalawa na mag-injure sila and all. No, but you have to assert yourself. At some point say, oh, magaling din ako I mean, Shaquille O'Neal in the house. Or I don't, maybe Shaquille is a too high star. But think of someone who's just below. Like if Kobe is like 95 out of 100, think of someone who was like 90 or 88. Do you get what I'm saying? So, for me, they have to carve out the space. And then, tactically behind the scenes, they have to do their strategy. So, there has to be again, war of positioning, meaning that may positioning sila dyan. And then at the same time, prepare for the war of maneuver, which is winning the elections next year. So, this is a very unique strategy approach that I have. I think Ronald Llamas is more optimistic than me. I'm not saying I'm not optimistic. I'm just saying kailangan ng stronger messaging because it's been a while since I did a vlog on some big thing done by the opposition. But aside from Riza Ontiveros and Franz Castro and all of that, I mean, but those are individuals eh. You know, kaya nga sabi ko nung Christmas party na nagsama silang lahat in one picture, Franz Castro, Leila de Lima, Lenny and all, that was a big one. But you know me, I'm quite religious, so I don't want to make comments on Christmas and politics. I don't want to mix the two. So actually, out of religious regions, I know this comes strange. I didn't talk more. I didn't want to talk about it because I felt it's a spirit of Christmas and all. I'm just gonna respect it, and not talk about it. But honestly, I hope to see those kinds of pictures, in a more secular context. So that's where I come from. Do you see where I'm coming from, bro? Like, hey, andito kami, may position din kami. Hindi naman na ano na pa importante, but just to be clear na yung idea. Kasi bro, ang nangyari ngayon is, saan kayo tatay dito kayo dyan. So parang hindi ka player, you're just a factotum. Parang sidekick ka lang.
Pero Richard kasi with all the realignments happening now, yung Pinks parang nakikita ko is becoming the third party. Parang, di ba, medyo
third party leaning
third
more
party
to one side than the other. A third party that is leaning to one side or the otother.
Yes.
You mean third party in like literally third party na hindi.
Yeah.
Because they're courting it.
Team, opposition yung DDS, admin yung mga loyalista, and yung Pinks ang nagiging parang third party na hindi na sila yung actual na opposition na which is yung DDS. Parang ganun ba yung nangyayari? So, yung Pinks ba, could Pinks play the role of being the third major party sa bansa?
I would say, to simplify it, of course I can talk about 10 gradations, but the two major gradations in Pink is never Marcos versus never Duterte. My sense is that never Duterte is a stronger force right now than never Marcos, but the never Marcos ones are still powerful, you know where they are, right? You can easily find them on certain news outlets and all of that, and maingay sila. And I noticed they make snidey comments when I say something about Marcos and take it out of context. Remember I had the piece about why Marcos is turning out more reformist and all. They twist it out of context. There are also some crazy leftist people, whatever, who also have their own, like, screw you all, kami lang. Yung mga purist, whatever, right? Yung mga ganun. So, for me, I think 60-70% is never Duterte. Easily. I can feel but can they produce the next generation leaders, or can they convince the pre-existing leaders, the titas and titos of the opposition movement to decide? So you have some people openly saying, no, it's time to really side with Marcos na. Kasi the greater threat to our democracy is Duterte. He's already calling for rebellion and inciting, secession. But for me, I get what's that coming from. But for me, it's important before making that move for tactical reasons, uh, also carve out your own space. Parang, okay, gets ko na sabihin mo, unahin muna natin si Digong, mamaya na natin, let's see what we do with BBM. At least BBM is not a threat, systemic threat. I get that, but my point is, hindi pwede na ano lang kayo, sidekick lang kayo. You have to have your, I mean, of course, realistically, they're the small third, di ba? If you read the Chinese Romance of Three Kingdoms, it was not between three equally sized kingdoms. There were like two larger one and a smaller one, right? So clearly they're the smaller party by far. But I think if they play their cards well, parang geopolitics yan, di ba? You can end on a better side of history. Yeah.
You can be kingmaker, di ba? And
Or your own king.
siguro mas
Or you can make your own king or queen down the road.
yun.
Not now,
And
but
siguro
3 years,
mas
5
less
years.
pressure on the pink to become the party na talagang o-oppose lang lahat. So, yun nga parang if you're the third party, you got room to maneuver, to grow, to rebrand, to develop yung new generations nyo. Hindi mo kailangang involved sa lahat ng nangyayari sa national. You can pick saang side ka pipili. And baka yun nga siguro ang
I agree with you.
best path moving forward with sa Pinks. Kasi malakas yung voting block ng Pinks malaki talaga. Ulitin ko yung
Oh,
sinasabi
bro,
ko, Richard.
15 million yung kay
party
Lenny.
list.
Oo.
Yung party list ng Pinks, di ba? That's the sayang yung if you really want na isulong yung mga ideology ni Lenny and all that, you need more people sa Congress na who gets elected because of the campaign. Di ba? Na you have to satisfy their base. So I think doon nagsisimula in 2025. Doon nila simulan siguro.
Yeah. Basta ang position ko, neither nor. Find the third way. That's essentially my question. It's not easy, of course. Sabihin na si Richard, anong alam mo sa politics? Well, I just predicted a lot of things. Anyway, no, but I agree. On the ground, maybe they're more right than me because I think I'm good in strategic analysis, but tactical analysis, kaya nga kinukuha ko si Ronald parate. Kasi siya may tactical experience siya, ako wala eh. So you see, I'm humble enough to recognize my limitations. But big strategic questions, I think, so far, thank God, medyo okay tayo. I think that sets the tone for our next topic because we want to also talk about the information environment and the entertainment environment because, it's not like kakamping only thinks about politics every day. They're human beings. They're looking at media. They get their information from media. But the media industry is also going through massive changes. So next episode, pag-usapan natin yung situation ng ex-CNN Philippines and what awaits us in terms of the information environment and Gilas Pilipinas, basketball, other interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Mark Gamboa, for that fantastic... I like that. Actually, thank you for those questions. You can see, naisip ko naman siya. Hindi naman ako knee-jerk na hater lang. No, inisip ko talaga siya na mabuti. But I'm more than happy to be corrected if that means things are better even than I think. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, go na tayo. Ito na bro. Let's go sports mode. Sports mode na tayo. Okay.
Yan.
Ito na, bago tayo mag-basketball sports mode. Ayan. Ilabas na ang Ayan na.
Gym body.
Okay, ito, guys. Pag-usapan natin ng maraming bagay. Pag-usapan natin ng basketball. Let's start muna with basketball, bro. Before we go into the bigger issues about the entertainment industry and infotainment industry, which brings us to the issue of news, no? So, kamusta? Actually, ulitin ko. Medyo sad kasing topic na to. Okay, wait lang. 1 second. Okay. I think it will be a little bit inappropriate. Alam mo naman ako, medyo sensitive ako. See, that's where I'm actually very sensitive guy. Okay. Alright, ito bro. Pag-usapan natin basketball. Ito na, finalize na yung coach natin. And of course, we'll try to connect that later on to the issue of Philippine media. Because I think the business model usually is kikita ka ng malaki sa entertainment and then yun ang gagamitin mo to fund the news industry, which is very expensive to run. And with the unfortunate case of ex-CNN Philippines, I mean, nawala bigla yung buong website and all of that. Like, my goodness.
Website and page.
I mean,
mga
oh my
videos.
God, diba? Like, so, guys, this is a little bit emotional issue because as someone who comes from the media, as someone who guested on CNN Philippines a lot, I have great friends there. I'm a big fan of people like Rico Hizon, best host in Asia. All right. Um, um, let's talk about this. I mean, first of all, let's talk about. Ay, sige, let's talk about ano na lang. Let's talk about CNN Philippines. Okay, so
Yes.
bro, what's going on there? What is your understanding of the news industry nowadays? Obviously, things are very difficult thanks to people like you and also me to a certain degree, right? Because people are now on social media. People just go on TV and smart TV and press YouTube, ganon, di ba? Convincing people to go, I don't know, wala na rin Sky Cable, di ba? You know, all of those it's a completely different world. Can you tell me something about it? Of course, tayo mas matatanda tayong millennials. But I think we know a thing or two about this transition phase we saw over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, if someone said people would want political bloggers over, I don't know, established channels, you laugh at the person. Like, what do you think? You think Joe Rogan ka, diba?
No,
But now it's like,
it's the
wow,
changing media landscape talaga. Let's start with
revolutionized
CNN
landscape.
Philippines, diba? Yung ano muna, ang nire-report nila sa TV, they were losing 250 million pesos a year. 250 million, tas another 250 the previous year. So, nalulugi talaga. Ang yearly na binabayaran nila, just to use the CNN name, is mga around 100 million pesos plus per year. So, doon nanggagaling.
Na tumaas pa last year. Tinaas pa ng CNN International. Yung War,
Tinaas pa ng
Turner, yeah,
CNN
that
na
was wrong,
global
yeah.
last year, di ba? So doon, yung sa CNN Philippines, nakakalungkot siya, pero kung titingnan mo, sa business sense, talaga it doesn't make sense na you continue
Yeah.
na pouring out money na ganun kalaki kung nalulugay yung business. Pero it shows yung business model is kind of outdated na. Di ba, nakita natin yung challenges na yan ng mga cable companies, mga cable news networks, the rise of Netflix, the rise of streaming, the rise of yung mga Amazon Prime, mga Amazon na video.
Yeah.
So, late lang tayo. Late lang natin nararamdaman dito. Pero doon na papunta eh. And hindi talaga sustainable. And yung free TV is found little by little is hindi na sustainable. Maski sa Amerika, di ba, nakikita din nila yon na people are moving more into streaming, and to ano. Sa Pilipinas, sa free TV, 3-4 lang yung kayang mag-survive.
Yeah.
Doon sa business model ng dati na siguro yung advertising budgets, malaking napupunta na sa online instead of TV commercials. So, lahat ng mga factor na yon went into the CNN Philippines, and yun na nga, nalugi na nga. And of course, kawawa yung mga employees and ano. Pero in terms of sa dami ng mga media outlets, marami din naman, di ba? Kasi yung bawat station, meron din naman silang mga media outlets, meron din naman ano. Pero syempre, it's still sad na maraming mga nagtatrabaho sa CNN ang would need to find another job and kailangan maghanap ng bagong ano, pagkakakitaan.
Yeah, actually, so I just came from Tokyo, no, and I dropped by some of the, my editors and big journalists there, and I was talking about Philippine situation. Pero siyempre sila, compare nila sa ibang bansa, and they were telling me, but actually, the Philippines is overall still doing well. It still has many great journalists, great media channels. Yes, andun yung mga social media and all of that, but in a way, parang may symbiotic relationship, or at least may coexistence in a certain way. And napaisip ko, if we compare to a lot of our neighbors, sobrang laki ng mga problema nila, or they're really, or nabili ng gobyerno lahat ng media, or nabili ng oligarchs ng gobyerno. I don't want to talk about India too much, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Philippines is not doing too bad when you compare to other countries. And we were also talking about in the West, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, lahat sila nahihirapan sila.
Yeah.
New York Times lang yung medyo okay ngayon.
They are survive eh. Oh.
Vox, Vice, di ba? Lahat sila nahirapan sila ngayon. So, siguro, parang ang point na siguro is like, I understand you're being emotional about this and all of that, but you have to understand this is all around the world, and the Philippines in comparison actually is not doing too bad. Parang yun yung argument niya. Now, speaking of not doing too bad, so last week may pinost ako, actually this week pala, may pinost ako na I saw some news na relaunch itong CNN Philippines in a different guise. So, can we talk about that, bro?
Yes, na-relaunch siya to RPTV.
Yeah.
Okay, so ang storya nito, pagkakaintindi ko, yung CNN Philippines was run by the ALC Group, Kabangon Chua. Okay, na alam natin ay yun na. Pero
wait. Ano bang alam natin? Anong maritas yan?
They're close to the Marcoses. Itong mga Kabangon Chua, 'di ba? Yun naman ang ano.
Hindi ko alam yan. So thank you for information, yeah.
They're close to the Marcoses. They got nung nawala yung franchise ng ABS-CBN, Villar got Channel 2. Romualdez got yung DZMM, yung Channel 23, Studio 23 went to ALC.
Right.
Okay? So, ALC, yung grupo ni Kabangon Chua, which is DWIZ. Yan, which is natawag ko dyan dati, Radyo DDS. Yung mga heavy na yan. DWIZ. Pero nag-ano din ako dyan.
Radyo DDS?
Tapos, yung maraming companies yan, malaki yan, yung mga city-state and all that. So, they're the ones subsidizing itong CNN Philippines. Lugi na, hindi nila kaya. So, I think ang direction nila is to just grow their Aliw 23 channel. Kasi yun, sarili nila. CNN, RPN 9, yung original RPN 9, is still 20% owned by the government, 30% owned by, may mga sinasabi sila na kung sino mga dating connected din sa, pero,
Right.
tapos yun yung pinapatakbo na, pero ang maganda lang kasi sa RPN, it has a wide reach. Diba? I think
In terms of the physics of it, yeah.
EB5, baka RPN na yung susunod na widest reach.
Yung
sa buong
frequency,
Pilipinas. So,
yung
yun
frequency.
ano doon. Yeah, so, Boss MVP, swooped in and made a deal with ALC Group para to take over yung content dito sa RPN 9, which they rebranded to RPTV. Okay, so yun yung pangalan niya. Meron silang deal dyan, kung anong hatian dyan, kung paano. Pero it solves a big problem for Boss MVP, which is kagkung saan ilalagay yung PBA. Kasi yun
Wala
ang
akong comment
problema
dito as officially working still. I'll just leave it to you. You're the expert. Yeah.
Yun ang malaking problema eh. Kasi where to put the PBA?
Yeah.
Kasi nung sumikat yung mga batang Quiapo, lumakas yung PB5, it doesn't make sense na yung prime time mo, ibibigay mo lahat sa PBA with the 2% ratings, pero yung batang Quiapo gets 15%. So, doon ka sa batang Quiapo. So, nawala tuloy ng paglalagyan yung PBA. Sinubukan nila sa A2Z ng mga Villanueva.
Good point Can you explain it again? Sorry, medyo now. So, ang problema nila ngayon is saan nila i-position yung sports na basketball sa channels ng TV5? Because TV5, essentially MVP is coming in, di ba? MVP group and all,
Yes, MVP has the rights to the PBA. Dati nasa TV5 yan. Ang problema, nung lumalakas na yung TV5, yung mga batang Quiapo and all that, lahat ng mga shows nila, it's not...
Wala nang space.
Wala nang space.
Yeah.
Diba? Kailangan mo, kasi ang haba ng basketball you have to adjust a lot of your time
Yeah.
So, ang either ilagay sa cable, sa signal, or, pero magreklamo yung mga ordinaryong Pinoy na wala sa free TV. Paano naman kami? Tapos, hindi nila nilalagay sa YouTube, wala ding streaming. So, that's the
At saka yung mga
problem with
masa,
PBA.
yung internet connection nila, to put it mildly, I don't think is as reliable as free TV, di ba?
It's behind the paywall. Yung Pilipinas Live. Yung PBA is behind the paywall online. So, walang free TV. Nagrereklamo yung mga fans na walang free TV. Nilagay nila sa A2Z, maliit pa yung reach ng A2Z. So, ngayong nagbukas yung RPN 9, nawalan yung CNN, yung mga ALC group, wala kaming mailagay na content. Anong pwede namin ilagay na content that would rate na hindi kami gagastos? Doon papasok yung PBA.
Businessman ka talaga. I like this analysis. This is very, very good analysis.
So doon papasok. Kasi yung PBA, it has 2% ratings, which is decente. You would get a decent amount of advertisers for that.
Yeah.
So, RPN 9, yung RPN, which is, kailangan mo yan. Yung mga shows na wala kang gagastusin, pero you would earn money from. So, yun yung PBA. Yun yung pinakamalaking na-solve na problem nitong pag-acquire ni Boss MVP hindi pag-acquire, pag-collab niya with RPTV. Tapos dyan papasok yung ibang mga sports, which is ano din indicative din sa kasi free TV is still, aside from your usual teleseries and news, ang best dyan is yung mga live sporting events.
Of course.
Diba? Sa Amerika, yung free TV nila, they pay a lot for the rights. Yung mga NFL na yan, Monday Night Football.
Yung bowl,
diba?
bowl thing, yeah.
Yeah, yun pa rin ang biggest, yun pa rin ang, hindi mo pwedeng maano sa online yan Kasi kung ang PBA, mapapanood mo lang sa free TV, wala kang choice. Wala
Right.
kang choice talaga kung hindi mag-tune in sa TV. So yun yung nangyayari sa changing landscape ng media. Isa dyan is
Interesting.
yung live sporting events. That's the only one na talagang maaasahan pa rin. Maaasahan pa rin ng free TV ng mga operators to generate income for them. Kasi walang choice yung tao. Diba? It's different when you watch it live as to watch it na replay sa YouTube na tapos na yung laro. Alam mo na kung sino yung nanalo. So, yun yung na-solve ng problema na to. Meron ng
Good
pwedeng
point.
gawing UAAP. Diba? Yung volleyball, PBL, lumalakas yan. Tapos yung, I don't know kung NBA, kung feasible pa. Pero yung mga sa sporting, yun ang magagawa. Pero sa ngayon, ang shows nila is yung mga show sa radyo ng TV5, yung Radyo 5,
Right.
yun ang pinapalabas sa RPTV, which is yung 4 hours of Ted Filon, which nakakabilib, araw-araw, 4 hours.
Oh
of
my
Ted
God,
Filon
4
sa
hours
umaga.
pala siya. Like what, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.? Ano yan?
Yes.
Exactly, di ba? Kasi na-interview na ako mga 7 a.m., 9, oh, mamaya na lang, 9 a.m. Wait na, parang ang laki ng ano mo.
Ang
Wow.
haba, di ba?
Sarap
Ang
buhay.
puno ni Sir Ted Filon. And yung sa Wanted sa radyo ni Idol Rafi is 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tapos yung Eat Bulaga, to sweeten the deal, o para lumawak yung reach ng Eat Bulaga, nilagay na din sa RPN. Ang isang advantage ng RPTV sa mga, meron silang HD channel which is, weirdly enough, wala nga yung GMA na HD So yung RPTV,
Oo nga, yung
CNN
HD.
Philippines na
ABS-CBN had that, diba? Yung HD, yung high definition.
Yata, Pero yung
may
diba,
HD
CNN
sila,
before, it has
yung
HD,
sports HD.
natuloy ng RPTV. So may HD, you can watch yung Eat Bulaga, PBA. So ngayon, yun yung 4 na pillar programs ng RPTV. Tulfo, Filon, Eat Bulaga, and simulcast din sa TV5 and PBA. So, na-solve yung problem ni ALC. Kung na-stop yung bleeding ng paggastos niya, he can focus dun sa Studio 23 na sarili niya.
Yeah,
Yung Aliw-Aliw
Studio
23 na sarili niya yung channel.
Interesting. What do you think is the implication of this dun sa mga, I don't know what's gonna happen with SMNI, yung Villars, they give up na, no? Parang wala na yung All TV. So, so this is really TV5 versus GMA Network right now, di ba? Kasi ang lawak ng reach ng TV5 ngayon.
Totoo. But that's another parang surprise na pangyayari. Then, ang daming teasers na lumalabas ngayon that ABS-CBN will have a block time deal with All TV.
Interesting.
Which is,
Exactly which I wanted to ask
malaki.
you.
Na yung ngayong nangyayari na GMA TV5, baka bumalik na naman yung ABS. So tatlo-tatlo na silang naglalaban dyan. It's a good thing that Boss MVP locked in ABS-CBN for 5 years yung teleserye. Yung mga batang Quiapo. So for another 5 years,
May
we
foresight,
could see that. And then speaking of siguro, let's mention na din na ay nakabalita lang sa news ngayon si Sir Deo Endrinal ng Dreamscape. Condolence to his family.
Yeah, nagte-trending siya. I was wondering our deepest condolences to his family and loved ones also. ABS-CBN is hiring, which is quite a good news, right? That it looks like they're back in the business. Maybe not as big as before, but it's quite a turnaround for a company who face existential threats or worse even. Worse in a sense that not only the company but the human beings there were facing very horrible situation. This is also my former home, obviously. So what is your read on that, the ABS-CBN situation?
Yeah, nung 2020 nung pandemic, I was one of the few na talagang nakikipag-away doon sa sa YouTube blogger, political blogger space na nakikipag-away for ABS-CBN. Kasi at that time yung mga DDS grabe talaga. Shut down ABS-CBN So I was really on
Pati
the
si
side
Tulfo,
of
di ba?
ABS-CBN.
Pati si Tulfo rin. Pati si Tulfo, di ba? Ang dami nagalit sa kanina
Si
DDS.
Tulfo, di ba? He also sided with ABS-CBN. Pero yun nga, kasi mostly because of the employees. Kasi alam ko it would make a drastic and ganun talaga nangyari nga. I know of some people na who got laid off. Yung salaries nila were slashed, went into depression, and even, di ba, yung iba, unfortunately, didn't make it. So, nakakalungkot talaga. And I knew that would happen. So, syempre, may sense of joy din para sa mga kaibigan ko, sa mga kapamilya na naapektuhan nung
Yeah.
shutdown nung 2020.
Which is again
And
horrible Duterte legacy. I mean, my contention is that Duterte
Yeah.
did to ABS-CBN accelerated itong trend line of the challenges that the mainstream media is facing in already a new information technology ecosystem. There's a question here about Willie Revillame. Ano yung magpopolitika na lang siya kasi parang boxed out siya, di ba? I mean, anong next move niya?
ayun nga, di ba yung PTV dapat, IBC, it didn't push through ang chismis. He was demanding or he was asking too much, ganon. Pero dating si Willie, maraming mga kaibigan, maraming natulungan nung araw, maraming mga mayayaman na kaibigan. So, he will return, wawawin sa online. Eh, there are talks na baka
actually, it can be very big online. Yeah, parang Mr. Beast of the Philippines.
Pero ang layo pa rin nung nakukuha niya nung free TV siya, 'di ba? Ang layo pa rin nung difference with the commercials and all that. Pero may mga usapan, may mga chismis na posible baka yung iba GTV, yung ibang mga channel ang lumalabas sa usapan. So nagulat din ako, natatakbo siyang politika with lining with the Duterte. So
wow.
That will affect them. So definitely yung PTV and IBC is out of the question for Willie. Kasi he chose he picked to join the Duterte.
Yeah.
Nandun siya sa Davao Rally. So, hindi ko talaga alam kung ano mangyayari kay Kuya Will. Kung anong direction
Well,
niya.
maybe.
Sure,
Maybe.
Pero marami siyang kaibigan, marami siyang natulungan. Definitely Wawa will find a way to get back on air. At malakas pa rin yung appeal niya sa masa. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if it's enough para makapasok siya sa Senado. Pero yun yung mga nangyayari sa landscape, di ba? With All TV, baka maging Channel 2, with RPTV. And, yun, di ba, buti sa Itbulaga, natapos na yung buong sitwasyon na yan. So, yun
That was a long saga, no? The Itbulaga saga. Last one, let's talk about basketball. Let's talk about basketball because, of course, finalized na mukhang yung coach natin, the coach that got us our first gold medal. Yun, naalala yung vlog natin. Dahil excited tayo. Naka-Gilas, Pilipinas. Yan.
May kwento din ako dito sa SBP.
Go!
Kwento ko na sa'yo. For the whole of last year, 22, tama. When I started sports vlogging, again, I was bashing SBP. Diba? Yung lahat ng mga pagkukulang, parang they were not listening to fans. Tapos yung ipipilit yung kay Coach Shot Reyes and ang daming mga pagkukulang. So, doon nag-start yung channel ko talaga.
Correct.
So, this year, okay, I am crossing over to the other side. Hindi na ako namabas ng SDP. Doon na ako sa side na susuporta. There was a major change sa leadership sa SDP. Okay? Kaya Padillo is still president, pero hindi naman kasi siya yung day-to-day. Day-to-day na operation ng SDP will be handled by the same person that handled the World Cup preparations. Yung logistics and all that. And babae. Talk about women empowerment, diba? Si Erica D. Okay? Si Erica D, who happens to be bagada ko nung college. Kaya,
It's that bind.
siyempre, Ano yun?
I said, that's that bind. Yung mga old
Yes,
friends,
oo.
suddenly now. Oh,
Nagkasama
baka
sa
naman.
Ateneo. She's a good friend.
Baka naman.
Really nice, professional, maayos trumabaho. And she's from a big political family. She doesn't need to work. Talagang lang niya for basketball.
She
Kasi
doesn't
nung
need
college
to
kami,
work. What's that supposed to mean? Mayaman yung mga politiko.
Hindi, from
Never mind, wag mo nang patulan yung question ko. I was
Pero-
just joking around. Please,
Pero
so,
yun nga,
sir, you're,
she just loves basketball and tawag dito, nung college pa lang kami, she plays for Ateneo women's basketball team.
oh, so legit. Talagang she knows. Oh, wow.
After graduate, she became a lawyer.
Right.
Nag-coach siya sa Ateneo din. And she handled yung sports ng Ateneo. Connected siguro sa MVP group. Hanggang she was tasked of handling the World Cup. And in fairness sa World Cup, maayos. Diba?
Yeah,
Maayos
success. I was happy.
Diba? Yung FIBA World Cup sa atin. So, with that success, she was handed the responsibility of itong Gilas, itong SBP, which is more than just Gilas. She will handle the women's,
Right.
the 3x3, basta the youth, the under 15, under 17, the whole basketball in the country, she will be in charge na as the parang sport organizing body.
Sports
So,
director,
ang
okay. Yeah.
unang ginawa niya, ang pinaka-importante of course, is yung men's basketball team. They picked Tim Cone after his Asian Games win at iba yung strategy na gagawin ngayon. Ang puna kasi parate is kulang ng preparation. So, ang ginawa ni Tim
Right.
Cone, he picked 12 players and it will be the same 12 players for 4 years. So pag kinausap kita, ang commitment kong hihingin sa'yo is for 4 years hanggang Olympics 2028 sa Los
Right.
Angeles. Which is yun yung magiging goal natin. To win the Asia Cup, to do well sa World Cup sa 2027, and to enter yung Olympics sa 2028. So we have a 4-year plan. We have the
Yeah.
same group of guys, which means hindi mo
Interesting.
kailangan ng sobrang daming time to prepare dahil you have 4 years to prepare. Diba? With the same players, with the same So this includes 6 from the PBA, 4 from B-League sa Japan na umuwi lang sila tuwing FIBA break,
Right.
and isa from UAAP, si Kevin Kiambao, and naturalized player. Si Justin Brownlee na who just got cleared by FIBA. So he can play na sa
Yes!
February. So,
Brownlee
which
is
very good.
back! Sana
3 weeks lang
naman!
ng suspension.
Since yung first episode natin was about healthy lifestyle, ayan, sir, ano lang tayo, chill lang tayo, okay. No, he had an injury, right? So some are thinking maybe some of the painkillers or whatever that he had to deal with, probably that's
Yes.
what.
Yun lang naman. It's not performance enhancing.
Oh naman. Yeah, actually clear naman eh. Or baka it's
Clear
just
naman.
because
So 3 months lang yung
bitter lang China. Bitter lang siguro China kasi both Jordan and Philippines ang tinamaan ng random, very
Yes,
random
random,
drug
diba?
test. Yung both first and second ang ni-random test. And that's very random, di ba? Yeah. So last point, just before flying back to the Philippines, I was looking at, of course, I'm a big fan of, back in the days, Dwight Howard, that whole era. Alright, kaya nga love na love ko yan si LeBron James kasi parang he brings back the memory. Siya na yung last relic. The same way na love ko yung sila Messi and Ronaldo in terms of nostalgia. No? Dwight Howard said something about the height limits, ceilings I didn't know about, and it's kasi he wants to play in PBA, diba? He's 38 years old, which is not too old. I know in basketball, parang tingin ng ibang tao, stop na yung mga ganun. But you never know, right? And having a superstar NBA player, 2-3-time defending player of the season, there, it puts us on the map. The same way when Ronaldo went to Saudi Arabia, suddenly, all kids are watching Saudi League. Honestly,
Yeah.
I never thought I will watch Saudi League ahead of practically all leagues except Spain and UK to a degree because I love, of course, Manchester United and Real Madrid. What is your take on the Dwight Howard issue? Bakit hindi pwede 7-footer sa I mean, kung all countries have 7-footers, all the competitive countries.
Yun na nga medyo outdated na rule ng PBA. Sinasabi nila to protect the PBA players para hindi mo kailangan kumalaban ng mga 7-footer. But in the end, di ba, it's limiting their growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Di ba? It's limiting their growth. Kasi sa global, di ba, we would face 7-footers. So, sa sobrang outdated.
Hindi lang global, di ba yung ASEAN, Cambodia, may 7-footer? Parang ganun
Yun
eh.
nga, yun
Oh, di ba? It's not even like Iran or I don't know, China. It's just like even Cambodia may 7-footer na kaya natalo tayo, di ba?
So yung PBA needs to, merong malaking calls for the PBA to scrap this rule para, yun, bukod sa, yun nga, si Dwight Howard will be a big attraction for the PBA. Nakita natin Taiwan. Di ba when Dwight went to Taiwan, di ba?
Right,
from ESPN, media attention, lahat nasa Taiwan. It would do the same for the
T-League,
PBA. Kaya, and yung mga naturalized players maybe explore for a way para makapasok sa PBA, yung mga naturalized players. So merong mga ganung call for the PBA to allow itong players na to. Kasi for a healthy Philippine basketball, healthy Gilas, we need a healthy PBA. We need yung mga players doon ma-train against the best and gumaling para umangat yung level ng basketball sa bansa. So I think yun talaga, it will be the best move moving forward for the PBA to scrap this height limit. Kasi naman, 3 conference naman eh. They could do it for 1 conference lang.
Exactly.
Subukan nila, di ba? So,
Exactly.
kung okay naman, so tuloy-tuloy na nila. So, yun naman yung doon. Yun naman yung tingin ko doon.
Thank you so much, bro. Sorry, it's already Sunday, so alam niyo, Sabat day, medyo I want to avoid working or doing anything work-related on that. I think we ended on a very good note. I'm cautiously optimistic, especially with our finally official no coach natin, the coach that got us the first goal in quite some time. And thank you for pointing out mukhang MVP. I'm not saying this because I work in a certain channel that happens. He has a vision for basketball. He has a vision for the media industry. So yeah, ito yung mga good businessman. Ito yung tycoons na visionary. So I'm quite happy about that. So despite everything I said about conglomerates and all of that, I'm also fair. I think when good things are happening, I'll definitely give credit where credit due. Pansin mo bro, pag mga ganitong episodes talaga, I'm just listening to you talaga kasi you really know this way better than me. So, yung mga nagbabash sa akin na si Darren, hindi yan nakikinig parati nag-interrupt. Like guys, kasi may mga issues na I'm very passionate, may mga issues na si Mark ay super passionate. So, one of us sometimes, takes the backseat and that's perfectly fine. And I'm more than happy to take the backseat and just learn from you. Ang dami ko natutunan. Thank you, bro. I work in the media and all of that, but I learned so much from this episode. I hope you guys also appreciate this episode. And, of course, basketball. I am a football guy. Everyone knows that. But as a Filipino, I love basketball. I'm so proud. We're the defending champions of Asia. Kaya I was a little bit concerned about the issue of height and all because I'll be fair. I'll be honest. Yan ang issue ko parati sa basketball. There's a height kind of quotient, if I can put it that way, which you don't have in football. Of course, kanina lang Iran beat Japan, but many were expecting Japan to do otherwise. And one of the things we Filipinos love Japan is because practically I think everyone in East Asia loves Japan so much. Is because they're not the tallest team, they're not even the most physical team. They're so technical, they're so fast, and all of that. But well, they were against also a very strong Iranian team, and eventually Japan lost that game. But my point is, that's why I love football for us Filipinos because I always felt, look at Japan, look at Korea. They're doing so well. They beat Germany, they beat Spain. Good luck doing that in basketball. Ang layo natin sa Germany and Spain. Wait, Germany ba nag-champion last year?
Yes.
Oh, Germany,
World
exactly.
Cup.
See, I mean, gosh, they're so good. Diba yung finals was Serbia, right? Serbia and Germany. Pero syempre, ano tayo? Wait, Slovakia ba? Slovakia si Doncic? Slovakia ba siya?
Teka lang. Na ano ko.
Di ba? Kasi Latvia, Slovenia.
Yung mga halo-halo eh.
Oh, hindi Serbia,
But
just to be clear.
European countries, nalilito ko sa mga pangalan nila.
Oh, talo na
Pero,
kita ngayon
You
Slovenian,
will face up
Slovenian.
against them sa Olympic qualifiers.
Slovenian.
If we want to go to this year's Olympics, we would have to go through Eastern European teams na napakahirap talunin.
Oh, kasi ang galing nila sa strategy. Like Serbia is a superpower country of like what? Wala pang population ng QC and Makati-hati na combined. But they're super. May mga YouTube videos I suggest you guys watch. Serbia, the basketball superpower, something like that. And guess what? The same in football, bro. Ang lakas ng Croatia and Serbia. Croatia, tiny country, they made it to finals the other time, this time to semifinals. Of course, si Modric, idol natin yan. Si Doncic naman, love ko yan kasi yung kulay ng nila, di ba? Ganyan, Tiffany yung nila. He's such a good player. Such a good player.
Thank you for bringing up football Kasi kung yung Pilipinas nga natin if we are able to make it dun sa World Cup, diba? So sa akin, kaya naman basta the right strategy, the right kumbaga forward-looking na vision for the program sa football, sa basketball. Yun. Football still has a long way to go. Kailangan muna ma-develop muna, magkaroon muna ng passion for the sport sa country, di ba? Pero yung Pilipinas definitely yung panalo nila is helping a lot to develop football. Lalo for girls. I think ang dami ko nakikita na talagang very na i-inspire yung mga girls to at least sa women's football man lang, doon man lang tayo makabawi-bawi. We are a powerhouse. At least sa Asia pagdating sa women's football. Doon man lang mag-start.
On that note, thank you very much. God bless you, bro. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our episodes. I love the diversity of our discussion. This is what we bring to the table in Project Pilipinas. Hindi lang sports, hindi lang politika, pamilya, like ano ulit yun, hindi lang pang sports, hindi lang pang lahat, di ba? We try to cover it. And hopefully more in the future, we can talk about food, travel, etc. Baka mamaya kailangan natin gumawa ng food vlogs dyan let's do some, no? Sa Manila, kumain tayo, magawa tayo ng video na maganda. No, I think that's naturally, not because nakikiuso lang kami, it's because actually politics is doing well pretty now, and I think it will be bigger as the elections comes in. But I think we want to do something different. Yeah, because you and I were
to showcase the great things about the Philippines.
Yes, Project Pilipinas. Project Pilipinas is the Filipino food, it's the Filipino culture, it's the Filipino sports, hindi lang yung politiko natin. Sabi nung isa, magmemekos-mekos tayo. Insan, ano na, mag-mekos na tayo, bro. Let's do this. Thank you very much. God
Okay,
bless
good
and
night.
talk to you soon.
Okay,
Gato,
bye-bye.
mase. Take care. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. Ito na, Sunday na, Sabbath day. Please spend a good time with your family, loved ones. Have some spiritual time, reflection, and iba. Katulad natin, magpahinga lang muna kayo. Alright? Mamaya na yung mga mekos-mekos na yan. Talk to you soon. God bless. And super thanks for staying with us for more than 2 hours of discussion. Alam ko bad yung connection, especially in other places. But kasi I'm using different platforms minsan. At alam mo naman sa Pilipinas, not the best internet even though one of the most expensive. Nevertheless, love natin Pilipinas. Project Pilipinas, please also follow us and also subscribe to our channel and different networks. Subscribe, yung mga ganun. Okay, talk to you soon. God bless. Maraming salamat, guys.